All right, you guys, this is the last review video that I am putting up, and it's going to be a very quick, every 10 years, what the heck is going on. That should actually be what it's called. What the heck is going on in America every 10 years. So I am going to start in, let's see. I'm going to start in 1603, okay? So in America in 1603, you have no English settlers yet. That's important to remember. It is just the Spanish. They're after their gold, God, and glory. They are the conquistadors. They are Hernando Cortez, Pizarro, De Leon, and they're going to be in areas like Florida and Texas in our continental U.S. They're also going to be in Latin America, in Mexico, and in those regions, of course, today, which are Spanish speaking. We are going to be into Jamestown in 1607. So keep in mind those guys are coming. So flash forward another 10 years, it's 1613. So in 1613 in America, you have Pocahontas already married John Rolfe. Didn't work out too well for her, poor thing. And this means that tobacco, all that stuff right around the corner, House of Burgesses, things are going to take off in Virginia. When they do, and we discover, of course, that white people can't really survive in that environment very well because of malaria. Again, much higher life expectancy age in the north than in the south. You are going to have increased slavery with 1619, right? So when we look at 1613, Jamestown is about to flourish and things are about to take off. And pretty soon that will then tell the rest of the people in Britain, hey, this is possible, we can do this, the New World holds promise, okay? So when we look at 1623, we are going to see Plymouth Rock already settled because they came in 1620, and obviously that's in the north. That's going to be in Massachusetts. Pretty soon that's going to expand into Massachusetts Bay Colony. And essentially when we talk 1633, 1643, 1653, 1663, 1673, 1683, throughout the 1600s and in the early 1700s, these regions begin to grow. Pretty soon we fill in those proprietary colonies, etc., and we have really come into Britain as colonies, has really come into their own in the New World. They are expanding, they are doing well because of the industries in the north, because of the agriculture in the south, and because of more and more people that are coming in. And that's always the biggest difference with the British, where the Spanish come in just for the gold and the French come in just to trade and live locally. The British bring in their families. We are taking up lots of land, increased tensions with the Native Americans, right? So let's fast forward, to 1703, okay? When we look at a year like 1703, we have the Navigation Acts into effect. America is definitely being used as a mercantilist child country for its mother country of Great Britain, right? And we are going to continue with that. Now, I'm really going to skip ahead. 1713, okay. 1723, now we're talking. Now we're going to get into what's pretty soon going to be Enlightenment ideas. And by the time we get into 1733, in 1733, we are going to have the Great Awakenings going on, right? So you have Jonathan Edwards, George Whitefield, religion expanding, becoming looser, and yet also scaring the bejesus out of people, right? And Brown, Dartmouth, all this stuff being founded. Okay, so 1743, 1753, I really want to hit home with 1763. So let's go to 1753 in just a minute, because now tensions are really mounting. We know that next year, 1754, is going to be when the French-Canadian War starts. And the French-Canadian War is going to be over in 1763 with the Treaty of Paris, okay? Now, when this happens, hold on one second. My ears are taking up so much room. I need more room. When that happens in 1763, it is two different things that happen. The Treaty of Paris ends it, and Britain gets all the land from the Mississippi to the east in America, right? And essentially France is not going to be in control of North America as they were before, as someone who is contesting that power. And 1763 is the year of the proclamation of 1763. Remember, proclamation, appellation, okay? So that's the line drawn in the Appalachian Mountains that says, Native Americans, you go west, the beginning of forcibly removing Native Americans west, and colonists, you stay right here. Salutary neglect is over, right? Okay, 1773, man oh man, here we go, revolution, right? So the American Revolution, many different events have already transpired at this point, and we have lots of things heating up: the taxes, the Navigation Acts, which we're responding to by smuggling, the Quartering Acts, all that stuff. And 1773 is actually going to be the year of the Boston Tea Party. So the Sons of Liberty, all this stuff, crazy. By the time we get to 1783, you have already the revolution won by us. This is going to be the Treaty of Paris that ends it, and we become our own country. And now we get land from the Mississippi on east. Okay, 1793, this is where George Washington says we have to remain neutral and we are not going to be involved in these future conflicts, okay, such as the French Revolution, which is going on at this time. 1803, big year of Marbury versus Madison and the year we buy the Louisiana Purchase. Our country nearly doubles in size. Thomas Jefferson does this. Mr. Strict Construction, way to go, right? Okay, 1813, we are in the War of 1812, right? Because it's only 2 years long. We fight Great Britain. We assert ourselves as our brand new Bambi-legged little nation, and we do a good job. 1823, we are in the time of James Monroe. This is going to be the year of the Monroe Doctrine. Europe, stay out. North America is ours. This alludes to our future expansion. 1833, we are going to now be getting into the Second Great Awakening. Think about all those reform movements. Dorothea Dix and prison and mental health reform, abolition, women's rights, Horace Mann and education, all that stuff is going on. Abolition one is going to heat up and of course bring us closer and closer to the Civil War. 1843, we are going to get really involved in expansion. We are just 3 years away from the Mexican-American War, which is going to start in 46. By the time we get to 1853, we are a country very, very much divided. And the Compromise of 1850 has happened. You have Bleeding Kansas. You have the Kansas-Nebraska Act. You have Dred Scott. All these things are just tearing us apart. And by the time we get to 1863, the Civil War is underway, right? By the time we get to 1873, we have Reconstruction still happening. But however, by the time we get to 1883, Reconstruction is over, correct? It has essentially failed, and it is a Jim Crow second era of slavery, New South, a solid South of all Democrats. 1893, we are really going to be in full swing with our second industrial revolution. Your Carnegies, your Vanderbilts, etc. No real government regulation. Republican presidents who are going to kind of let that go until we get to, oh my goodness, wait for it, Teddy Roosevelt, 1903, right? And Teddy Roosevelt in 1903 has now been president for just a few years because McKinley was shot here in 1901, right? This is a progressive era full swing. We're talking 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th Amendments. We're talking temperance. We're talking Alice Paul and women's rights. We're talking all this stuff really heating up. By the time we get to 1913, you are almost going to have World War I happen, right? And we know that we get involved in 1917. By the time we get to 1923, roaring 20s, baby, laissez-faire presidents, all the social change, flappers, you name it. 1933, we are in the midst of the Great Depression, and we had just elected FDR because he is going to come about in 1932, right? So he has just started, 100 first days, all that stuff, the New Deal. 1943, of course, we're in World War II. 1953, Eisenhower is going to be president. We are going to have that very conformist 1950s society, Cold War issues heating up constantly. By the time we get to 1963, more people are paying attention to civil rights, everything that's going on. All that stuff is about to explode. Once we really hit the mid-60s, it takes off, and we know 68 to be that ultimate year where things are crazy, right? 1973, everyone's like, what just happened? The 60s were crazy. Era is still rolling, the women's rights movement, all the copycats of the civil rights movements, the American Indian movement, the Latino rights movement, LGBT. Pretty soon down the road, we're going to also have the environmental movement. All that stuff is going on in the 70s. 1983, you're going to have a very old but very charming Ronald Reagan as president. This is going to be very laissez-faire. By the time we get to 1993, you have Bill Clinton, right? And then we have 2003, and September 11th has already happened. George Bush Jr. is going to be in office in 2003. But by the time we get to 2013, you know the rest from there, okay? Obama and all that good stuff, all right? 2023, who knows? Hopefully we'll all see each other. You guys are going to be great, great, wonderful, awesome, marvelous, smart people tomorrow. Do your best, because let me tell you, your best is the best, okay? Bye.